Here we are, live, the show that wouldn't die. Have a beer. Yes, the year. Back again. Like the virus that wouldn't go away. Delta variant of Have a Beer, Guess the Year. And we're in all kinds already. Here we are, live, the show that wouldn't die. Have a beer. Yes, the year. Back again. Like the virus that wouldn't go away. Delta variant of Have a Beer, Guess the Year. And we're in all kinds already. Here we are, live, the show that wouldn't die. Have a beer. Yes, the year. Back again. Like the virus that wouldn't go away. Delta variant of Have a Beer, Guess the Year. And we're in all kinds already. Here we are, live, the show that wouldn't die. Have a beer. Yes, the year. Back again. Like the virus that wouldn't go away. Delta variant of Have a Beer, Guess the Year. And we're in all kinds already. Here we are. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. What happened?
I think we got I was getting emails from Dr. Chance and Gladys just asking me about tomorrow's briefing, and it was messing with my brain there. So can we do that again? Are we live? Live, you say? What?
I think we're live.
Sorry. Welcome everybody to Have a Beer, Guess the Year. My name's Ian McNally, and I'm here joined with Australia's leading agricultural-based comedian, Nick Capper.
Yes, Ian, it is so good to see you again, mate. I don't know, a guy like you that is so stable and such a reliable guy is not in my life. My life is full of crazies, idiots. So it's just good to be with a guy that's just got his shit together and going slightly crazy. Slightly.
Hey, look, it's great, the guy in the office who nobody said would go mad, everybody depended on, and he's doing a live stream on YouTube in a questionable Hawaiian shirt. It's probably from Sportscraft or some other nefarious garments provider, but who knows?
I wouldn't say it's questionable. I'd say it's quite answerable. I'd say that's the answer to the party.
Maybe so.
I think it's great, Ian. I love the shirt, and I love everybody in here tonight. It's so good to see you, mate. I'm excited. I'm drinking look, guys, I know Have a Beer, Guess the Year. We're all about responsible drinking. And I'm drinking responsibly 3 different beers. I'm drinking the Nitro Vanilla Latte from Garage Project, and it is beautiful, right? But that wasn't before I had the Cloudwater Pale Ale. I first tried Cloudwater at Carwin Cellars, and it was amazing. And then I also thought I'll try out my friend's filter, see if they've got if this double red ale is good. And it's good, Ian. What do you got? What do you think?
Double red from Filter sounds great. And I love that you started off with saying I'm drinking responsibly and finished off by showing off. I've had 3 great beers. I'm actually drinking the Romper by Molly Rose, the West Coast IPA, which is a fairly heavy hitter. So this episode might go in an interesting direction. But we've got Justine, who's drinking the Golden Hills Imperial Stout. Craig is drinking the Bad Shepherd Peanut Butter and Jam Porter. That sounds terrible.
I love that.
Oh, terrible. Too sweet. Daniel's drinking the Bridge Road Orange Sour or Pomegranate Pale. Be interesting to see what you've chosen there. Double Butcher as well is getting drunk by Pocket Beagles, always the company shill. Pocket Beagles drinking the can that he designed.
I do love the Double Butcher. I reckon it's one of the best beers to come out this year. This is one of the best years as well.
And Slams Dunkwell is drinking a growler of Saison DuPont, which is a benchmark beer.
Really?
To have a growler of it, I'll be very interested. Can you put slams where you got that growler of Saison de Pont? Because I
Yeah.
think you might have found it at a bus stop and just started drinking it. In Frankston, apparently, definitely at a bus stop. Would maybe.
Wally Shaw is
Stuart
Aldi Blind.
Stuart D's on the homebrew. I didn't know
Oh.
Stuart D was homebrewing.
Mate, I would love to have a Stuart D homebrew. That guy knows his beers.
Man, I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Stuart D has put the plug in the bath and has got the big spoon out. That's great. And Kaleidoscope has got a string of sake.
Oh man, I've been on the Japanese drinks lately. I've been having is it called Mesha? Been having these Mesha wine at the bottle opens.
I think you're buffering, Kappa, here. I don't know whether that's me or whether that is that your brain buffering there. You were definitely buffering for a moment.
Oh, really? Oh, it could.
Start again. Start again in the smooth start that we've got off to on Have a Beer Guest Year.
Yeah, I had I've been having the Mesha Japanese wines and the plum wines, and they've been amazing. There's this little one you can buy for like $13, which is very expensive, but you put it in the freezer and have it like a slushy, and that'll kill you. I'll for any Have a Beer Guest of the Year connoisseurs, I'll put it in the group.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do want to join the Facebook group, search Have a Beer Guest of the Year on Facebook. And we've got so many. Joel is drinking a Mexican black mole stout.
Oh, I was going to buy that, Joel. Is that good?
We'll find out. And Craig is drinking the lemon cheesecake. I don't know if he's eating a lemon cheesecake or drinking it, but my video on Instagram and Facebook before was me as a lemon, trying to advertise the show and convince everybody that I was fine during lockdown. It's having no effect on me whatsoever. So,
man, I could have a lemon cheesecake beer, and I could also have a lemon cheesecake. I could eat a whole one. Time.
What's your favorite dessert, Kappa? Because for me, like a sharp lemon cheesecake or lemon something is the best. Like I love that.
Mate, look, do you guys want to hear behind the comedian's curtain? I've been trying to write a joke for probably the last 2 years about cheesecake, because I think cheesecake is the best dessert of all, because you can buy a cheap cheesecake and it's still good, or you can buy an expensive cheesecake and it could be just as good or even better. There's no risks with cheesecake. If you're doing other desserts, there is an element of risk. The cheesecake is always reliable. It's solid. It's like a Toyota. It's a Toyota of desserts.
With that attitude, you could definitely set up some sort of shop based around cheesecakes. Maybe call it the Cheesecake Shop and just pump out regular, reliable cakes with the crust at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think this business model would take off at all. I don't know if people would be that dumb. I don't know if every time I go to my nana's place, we would have to drive to the Cheesecake Shop before anything else.
So good.
You get the man now to drive it because she's uncomfortable driving 20 kilometers away, which is Caboolture, her closest train station. So whenever I get off at the train station there, the man that from her bowls that has participated in driving her, he has to drive her then to the Cheesecake Shop with me before we even get home.
Wow, you've got to cover all bases. I mean, you've got it. It's either that or the Toyota dealership. So it's a lot cheaper to go. It's
reliability, cheaper. It's that, or like, or Yeah, it's like the what is it? What's his name? My favorite actor, Jack Nicholson. Always reliable. It's like the Jack Nicholson shop.
Always good. If the cheesecake shop started doing like Hollywood themed cheesecakes, I would so love that.
Oh man,
Kel,
imagine the Nicolas Cage cheesecake. It would just be like some fucked licorice and tofu thing or whatever. Or it could be the best cheesecake you've ever had in your whole life.
I would love the Lindsay Lohan cheesecake where like they just presented a lovely cheesecake in the counter and then whoever was serving to you just bashed the head into it and went, there you go. That's yours.
Lindsay Lohan
$24.50,
was
please.
good in Mean Girls. It was like, oh, this cheesecake was so. The first one they put out, oh my god, it blew your mind, and you didn't think it would be good, and then it was good. All right, guys. For those who
All
don't
right,
know,
we've got
we
Kelv. He's had a delivery from WA of Rocky Ridge, a mixed 12 pack, which is very fine. We've got two people drinking the same beer, the Golden Hills Imperial Stout. Justine and Mickey are both drinking that. It's amazing. Jared has also commented on my beer being a Romper Stomper, which is not the case, but I'm more than happy to discuss. And we've got plenty of people talking of cheesecakes. Kelv has said the cheesecake joke still needs a bit of work.
I like you, Kelvin, and now you're out. You're out, mate. You're one of my favorites. You're bloody out. Nah, you're all right, mate. I'll keep you in.
Look, you won't be laughing, Kelv, when Toyota are giving a free cheesecake with every Corolla. But Kappa, I have to close down the chat. This is my saddest moment when you have done the research and I cannot look at the chat any longer. But I've closed down the chat. For anyone who hasn't watched before, Kappa's going to fire a lot of clues and events that have happened in a particular year in the past. Last week, there was an 80-year spread of guesses.
I think it was like that was a monumental episode of Have a Beer Guest a Year. I think it's been our biggest yet. It's definitely been the shark jumper of Happy Days. Yeah. So that was a big episode. Can people still go back and watch that episode, Ian?
They can, but they won't.
They probably won't. Look,
but you can go watch the episode. If you didn't catch the episode, maybe just participate in this live episode, and then if you want some more, you can go back. But yeah, you can. It's still online on YouTube. It's had about 45 views. So,
all right. Well, let's get into Have a Beer Guess a Year, where I give Ian a series of clues. And Michael said he just ate a slice of cheesecake during that discussion. The fuck, Michael? You're ruining our lives here. I would love.
Michael has just been eating cheese. Has Michael just recently bought a Toyota Corolla?
Who has a cheesecake on hand? All right.
I think is your grandmother with him?
Guys. Ian and I, we are having a lot of fun tonight. I stayed off the beers this week, and then this came on, and I was like, why not? All right. Okay. There was a recession in this year, and there was an uncertainty due to the collapse of socialist governments. Birth rates in many countries stopped rising or fell steeply. So there you go.
I love the way you delivered that with such uncertainty. Like a man who's just done the research for this at least 8 minutes before. Actually, so socialist governments, of which I'm a big fan, but decline in birth rates. I struggle with a decline in birth rate.
Okay, what about this? I'll hit you with this one, Ian. You're a big fan of Italian art.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of when the internet breaks up and Kappa starts buffering and freezes. Definitely a big fan of that. I think that might have been the internet cutting Kappa off because he started talking about Italian art and they went, nah, way out of his depth. We'll break him up. We'll just pretend, we'll do the polite thing. We'll pretend that he's buffering. We'll freeze his frame. You know, he's going to start talking about the Rococo art movement and he thinks he's talking about Rococo pops.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. All right. The Leaning Tower.
I think it covered for you there.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is close.
You're doing it again. It's not going to work if you're going to start buffering every time. If the Italian government have found out that you're starting talking about the Leaning Tower of Pisa, how many people are using the internet at your place?
Is this better? I connect to the 5G.
What were you connected to before? AstraZeneca. What?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
is this
Pfizer.
better?
Pfizer's the best.
I'm on the Madura.
Presumably that's a cross between Midori and the Moderna vaccine, which
remember Midori? That was the step-up alcohol from beer, wasn't it? It was the step-up spirit.
They did a Midori promotion at university when I was there, and I still didn't drink it. I think they were giving it away for free, and I could just smell it. It's like awful. Anyway, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
All right. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is closed to the public because of safety concerns.
Oh. Because you can climb up the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I've been to the Leaning Tower. I haven't climbed up it.
What do you look? This is one of the most recognizable buildings ever. But what the fuck is the go with the Leaning Tower of Pisa? What happened? Did they build it wrong? What is going on here? I should know this. It's one of those things.
They built it right, and then it started to lean, and they built it actually so well that even a lot of lean, it didn't collapse. And then they decided it was becoming remarked upon. So they decided when you go there, they've got a lot of like engineering wires and things holding it in its current position. Because obviously if it carries on leaning, there's a problem. But you can still climb to the top and things like that. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a lovely spot, and like around it is like a lovely environment to be in. But
people are guessing already, and this is terrible.
Guessing a year already.
Guess this early. People are also crazy about bloody illusion shakers. Illusion shakers going nuts about. Look, this is
what's an illusion shaker? Is that Midori?
Oh man, they were big. They were big in Australia. You would order a Midori illusion shaker and you could share it with three mates, and it was kind of like a jug of Midori.
That's why I don't know, because I definitely did not have three friends.
Yeah, or you could share it with yourself, But that was a true psycho, someone who bought an illusion shaker for themselves. So that's crazy. I've only given 2 clues and people are guessing. And first of all, you guys are way off. So, okay. Douglas Wilder becomes the first elected African-American governor as he takes office in Richmond, Virginia.
Well, as we remark every Have a Beer Guest Year, anything to do with race, women, homosexuality, any minorities, could have been yesterday, could have been 100 years ago.
Yep.
But tell me about how Israel have also in this year launched attacks on Palestine. Just to narrow it down. Sorry, it's not a laughing matter.
Okay. All right. Smith and Wesson introduces the first 40 S&W cartridge.
Oh, the Essence, the Stone and Wood cartridge.
Stone and Wood cartridge, yeah. It was the first cartridge developed, a law enforcement cartridge designed to duplicate performance of the FBI's reduced velocity 10mm auto cartridge.
Oh, you're talking firearms. Wow.
Smith and Wesson, man, they don't make anything else. What
Yeah, I
else?
thought it was actually genuinely Stone and Wood. I know I come from Liverpool, but we don't use firearms near enough as a boy from the country. Did you have firearms growing up around the place?
Yeah, man. I'm sad to say that I did shoot a lot of guns when I was a young boy. But yeah, and shot a lot of animals, and now I'm not. I don't know if I could kill anything again. I mean, I could if I ate it myself and it was killed humanely, or if it was a better comedian than me.
Yeah, I was thinking you were thinking, if my neighbor played their music too loud, I could kill again.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a way of life in the country, isn't it, to have firearms? It's not unusual, is it?
Man, it's a lot of fun. My dad took me target shooting a lot, and but the problem is he had some really good guns. My dad had some really fun guns. He had a 22 250 rifle, but it was so loud. And my brother and I went and did a mining course once, and they tell you how much hearing each gunshot takes away. And wow. Man, it is brutal. You don't want to find out.
Did you just say your dad took you to target shooting rather than Big W?
That was later on in our teenage years. No, before that, he just took his target shooting, but yeah.
Not Big W, not Kmart.
Target country wasn't big enough, so more target.
Oh, target country. Yes.
I couldn't get a good shot in there. You'd have to take a pistol, which is illegal.
I mean, look, if you went to target country, I mean, most people would be happy to be put out of misery. Carry on. That clue helped me nothing. So keep going.
Craig P's like, the 10mm ACP is a fairly modern round, so this must be modeled after that, recent-ish. Like, Craig P, what are you, a gun nut? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to keep these as broad as possible.
Great.
But I failed again. Okay. The Royal New Zealand Navy discontinues its daily rum ration.
Oh, we've had a clue like this before about the Navy rum ration in the British Navy, which it was remarkably big. I think there used to be a beer ration for the Navy, and then they ended up taking rum because it was less to carry, and then they slowly petered it away. But I can't remember what year it's from. So,
it's weird because Navy strength rum. I remember a bartender telling me about it once. He's like, "That's the strong rum or whatever," but it didn't taste. It was just strong, and that was a shit thing to drink. And they were like, well, Navy strength, that's just to get you pissed. It's not. But now it's like, because of the hipsters and stuff, they're like, yeah, Navy strength, this is cool. It's weird how trends change.
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about Navy rum, and you kind of were fragmented and paused again, which is appropriate. But like 4 Pillars Navy strength gin, it is about 60% alcohol. It's like 58% alcohol, which is a lot, isn't it? It's kind of like, at what point does this stop becoming a recreational drink and starts becoming, lighter fuel?
I often think of if you got your granddad in a time machine and you're like, "Hey, granddad, this is what we drink now." He's like, "Navy strength rum." I thought we were meant to progress in society. He's like, "We only drank this to get pissed. Why would you drink this to relax?" Like, "Oh, it's because it's strong and it's cool." And he's like, "We didn't. I would much rather drink, like a cheap Bacardi rum. You know what I'm saying? Like or sours. Like dad's, granddad, sours are all the rage." He's like, "We hated this shit."
Yeah. Like my grandfather would definitely be like, if I was drinking a beer, anything over 4.5%, he'd be like, "Are you out of your mind? You rapscallion, you hooligan." He'd be like thinking, "What are you doing drinking a 4.6% lager? This is this is crazy."
Yeah. All right, Ian, you're from the Great Britain or the
We'll
United
just call
Kingdom.
it Britain. We'll just call it Britain for now.
Well, the first two women are ordained as priests in St Anne's Cathedral in Belfast, becoming the first female Anglican priest in the United Kingdom.
Wow. Well, I knew they couldn't be Catholic priests because women can't be Catholic priests even today, not even in Belfast. So Anglican priests in Belfast. Wow. Have you ever been to Belfast?
No, mate. No, I've never been to Ireland, and I would love to go there. My parents went, and they just raved about it the whole time because I guess Ireland's the opposite of where I'm from. There's always stuff going on, and it's highly, populated and heaps of cool shit. Whereas, like, where I'm from, there was no one and nothing.
I think Ireland is probably really attractive. Like it's like a country town, but everyone's a bit closer. So it's so good. Like everybody wants to speak to you, particularly if you're Australian.
Yeah.
Like going over, everyone's just great. But Northern Ireland, amazing place, beautiful place.
I heard it's so beautiful. Yeah, and I would love to go over there and do comedy because I heard that's why there's a lot of good Irish comedians because the pubs, they're tough to do comedy in.
Yeah.
It's tough,
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, buddy Clint, he says he loves Bundy. Some people said they don't like Bundy. Man, I don't like Bundy, the normal Bundy, but there's that one that you can only get at the distillery, which my parents just bought 2 bottles of for me. That is amazing. The coffee, I think it's the coffee one or something like that. That's really good. Okay. All right. Oh, Craig P. Yeah, I'm with you, Craig P. He says we used to think Cooper's Sparkling was really strong at 5.8%. I was bloody, yeah. I was in that crew where you would go, "Oh, look, the Cooper's Green tastes a bit better, but let's have the red and really knock ourselves off." All right.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, in the UK, like you can still buy like Arkle Strong Ale, and it's like 4.9% or 5.1%. It's like it's really moved on. Cappy, you just froze
All right.
for a moment.
Well,
it's so this episode is so exciting when you just freeze for a moment, and I think, will I have to do the rest of this episode on my own, not knowing the clues, guessing the potential year?
Okay. Prime Minister of Pakistan gives birth to a girl, becoming the first modern head of government to bear a child while in office.
Ooh. Wow.
Justine said she's had some Crispy Boy Rattenhund, which apparently is an amazing pills by Help Nation. Have not heard of that, but everybody is loving the Rattenhund. Is that how you say it, Rattenhund?
Yeah, everybody's been talking about it. The Rattenhund. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get one. I love Hop Nation.
I think
So
it's all
dependable.
sold out. It's all sold out, Kappa. We'll
Oh.
have to work it out, but
Can someone split one with me on a exercise cycle ride or something like that?
Kappa, just remind you, Brett Sutton is watching this live stream. He's a big fan. Have a big guest year, so stop doing the old exercise. If you're gonna do it, you got to go and exercise and drink a rat and hunt on the proper exercise.
Look, Brett, I just thought I'd give you a little message. Our whole house thinks you're a bit of a bloody snack, bro. We're all fans of the Brett. He's a good looking man. He's Brett. If you're tied down, even if you got kids, break it off because you're going to be and ladies, and if you want them, whatever you like, get in there, Brett.
You broke
You're
up again there, Kappa, but the thing that you led into was Brett Sutton. If you're tied down, then you started breaking up. But I think he has 3 children, and Have a Be a Guest of the Year could have been about Brett Sutton's age, which I think was revealed. I think he's like 53. And I think, surely that's not possible. 53 seems
53.
Seems impossible, doesn't it? Maybe someone in the chat can verify.
Yeah, that is impossible. Brett Hutton, he's a certified certified hornbag.
But what you like a 53? Surely you stop being a snack and become a main course.
Oh yeah, he would be a main course. Yeah.
So,
I could see him getting a few COVID nurses and stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Stop talking about Brett Sutton. It's getting me excited. Okay.
You're blushing, Kappa. Wait till I talk about the Weimar Republic of Jerome.
Okay. 12 paintings and a Shang Dynasty vase, collectively worth 100 to 300 million, are stolen from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston.
I don't understand that. I understand like when you used to rob like someone's car radio or something, because there's a market for that. You can go into a local pub, you steal a car radio, you go to a local pub and you sell it for 30 quid or $50, whatever. But where are you selling a unique object?
Yeah, man. It can always be traced back, can't it? And if you're the guy that bought it, you can't show anybody.
And where are you selling it? Are you going,
yeah,
you can't sell that on Gumtree, or you can't go in the local pub and go, hey, mate, do you want to buy a mink farce?
But, Ian, for us to talk about this so logically, like it's the dumbest thing ever, it must make so much sense, and we're the dumbest.
Maybe. If someone in the chat who has got experience of stealing these precious items, please do enlighten us. But
Elder Taco said he watched a doco on this heist not long ago. He said it's a great movie. So anyway, don't give it away, Elder Taco. Okay. All right. The Central United States tornado outbreak produces 64 tornadoes across the U.S. states. 64 tornadoes.
I mean, what constitutes a tornado? Because they can be quite small, can't they?
But there were 4 violent ones, like F4, F5.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What about this? The Perfect Moment show of nude and homoerotic photographs opens at the Cincinnati Art Center.
Oh, I've got the year.
In spite of accusations of indecency by the Citizens for Community Values.
Can you say that again?
Accusations of indecency by Citizens for Community Values.
Community values. All right. It's not getting easier. I mean, were the tornadoes because of this?
Yeah. Man, it's a crazy year. Remember Twister? That was a great film.
I never watched Twister. I just enjoyed the trailers for it.
I don't know if you had siblings, Ian. How many siblings do you have? Or do
I've
you
got an older sister.
An older sister. You know, when you there's a time when you I don't know, my brother and I, we first got Ozstar, like the cable TV out in the country, and we just thought it was we just watched it continuously until we went insane. And due to the disappointment of my father, who was a hardworking father, but we just watched Twister repeatedly until it went from like being a scary movie to the funniest movie. It actually has really good gags, and my brother and I still recite them to this day.
Was it a bit disconcerting though, watching Twister when you live in an agricultural environment? Because were you not? Did you have any weather events that happened when you?
Well, we just called them like whirly whirlies. Yeah, we never had anything threatening. I don't know. I don't think natural disasters prey on places where there's no one that matters or not many people that live there.
Is that the official name for them, whirly whirlies, or is that a pet name for your family?
Just call them whirly whirlies or something like that.
That's so lovely.
Okay. All right. There's an agreement for decriminalization of homosexual acts between consenting adults in Queensland.
Oh.
Now, once again, as we said, this could have been yesterday or 1901.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly have taken in Bob Catter's view of people with their proclivities, I think, as he called them. It's very open-minded about that stuff.
All right. Well, look, Ian, do you have any kind of ballpark?
I think my kind of in the late 80s, early 90s. There's a couple of but I'm certainly not. There's not one clue you give me so far which has really defined where it should be at.
Okay. All right. I've got a few left. The first McDonald's is opened in Moscow.
Oh. Do you know that there's never been a war between two countries that have a McDonald's in?
You've told me this before, and I love that fact.
So as soon as there is a McDonald's in a country, you can't fight against the other. Capitalism won.
Well, I think it's just because everyone's so overweight and unhealthy, they can't fight anymore.
But the Moscow McDonald's, I remember that there was like huge queues outside, like miles long, to eat this Western delicacy. It's like, you imagine the disappointments of having to spend like 4 weeks' wages on a Happy Meal. You know, the irony of but isn't McDonald's the biggest distributor of toys in the world because of Happy Meals? Yeah, I believe so.
Wow. I remember getting a toy and a Happy Meal. And even when I was older, when I was grown out of toys, I still liked getting the toy. It was weird. you still kind of wanted the toy. You would still get the Happy Meal, and then you get a cheeseburger to add on to it.
And the box was great.
Yeah. Remember, you'd also
game.
get, when you were in your teens, you'd get a McDonald's meal and then add an extra burger onto that, and then you still would have like a 6-pack. That's annoying when you're a kid.
Yeah, well, what was more annoying when I was a kid at 16 is working at McDonald's, particularly when it was vegetarian and working on the grill.
Man, that's hilarious. I can't believe you were, oh man, you must fucking coming from where you come from, vegetarian, working at McDonald's. Man, you're a real trailblazer.
Man, I actually I worked at a McDonald's where it's the only McDonald's in the world where Queen Elizabeth II has been through the drive-through.
Whoa, man. How'd they fit the horse and cart through?
Well, she was in a bespoke Rolls Royce, and she didn't stop at the drive-through. Obviously, she didn't like wind the window down. But they drove through. There's I think you can search on Google Images there's very little footage of it. But the Queen did drive through in a Rolls Royce. She wasn't driving, obviously. She was being driven.
This is basically on the, because my nan, one of my best friends, she's the queen in my life. And one of the funniest things we ever did was we realized that she had never been through a drive-through. It wasn't until I was like 18 or 20 when she tapped my mum on the shoulder, said, "Why are you yelling at the box? There's no man there. There's no person there." When my mum just started speaking. That really happened. My nana was like,
I fully imagine that that's exactly what the Queen's experience would have been. Like, imagine the Queen just like, "Oh, Mom, we've got to go through this little road." And she's like, "Why? One would like a Happy Meal. One would like a cheeseburger, quarter pounder." Very strange.
Wow,
strange.
there's some. We've got some old fans here, but it's good. Some real good. Craig P said, "I'm so old. I remember McDonald's used to do whole roast chickens in a box." Fuck, that's wild. I never saw that. Wally Shaw says, "I remember when McDonald's had ashtrays."
I love that they say, like, "I'm so old. I remember when McDonald's paid a living wage."
Okay. All right. The first Pizza Hut opens in the People's Republic of China. Nearly 3 years after the first KFC opened there.
KFC opened in the same year?
No, 3 years after.
Oh, KFC 3 years after. Okay. Wow. So Moscow has McDonald's. China gets KFC.
Yeah.
I kind of feel Moscow won there. Moscow get to eat out of polystyrene little flip things, and Chinese people get a bucket.
Yeah.
I think Moscow win.
KFC is my favorite, to be honest. Can you get it delivered? I might get some delivered tonight. I've had 3 beers. It's KFC time. Okay.
You I think you can get a can of gravy. Get KFC gravy. Everybody goes on about it.
Oh man, I remember the second big lockdown. I bought KFC home, and I know now why there's diabetes in. I read this figure that there's a lot of diabetes and a lot of health issues with people, in the low socioeconomic. It's because I fed 3 of us. I could have fed 3 of us 3 times over because I spent $22 at KFC. There was so much food. I can't tell you how much chicken was there.
Yeah, when they start saying, "Oh, this is chicken popcorn," It's
Yeah.
not, is it?
Yeah, man.
It's not corn.
It's terrible. Okay. All right. Are we getting close, Ian?
I think we're getting closer yet. Go
All
on,
right.
hit me with another
I've
couple
got
of
a
clues,
few big ones.
and we'll ask people to start locking in their guesses in the chat. I can't see the chat, so
Okay. We're going to start, doing that. Tim Berners-Lee created the first web server.
oh,
And the foundation for the World Wide Web.
oh, Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee. You can actually watch him. London Olympics 2012. He was part of the opening ceremony, and they were celebrating all things British in that. I think there's less. It would be a lesser ceremony now. There'll be fewer things, but Tim Berners-Lee was in the middle of the Olympic Stadium in London, and he sent a live tweet, I think, as the founder of the internet. But when did he find it? Jeez.
In London, a man brandishing a knife robs a courier of bearer bonds worth $292 million.
$291 million.
$292 million, Ian.
Oh.
This has been the second largest mugging to date, ever.
One of my mates got mugged in London, and he said, give me some money. And he goes, he gave him £5. And the guy mugging him said, that's not enough. I love that. Like, as though, mate, you're ripping me off here. I've made the effort. I've brought a knife.
Yeah.
I want to stab you, but it's not enough. Come on. Join the party, Get with the script.
We've got David in as well from the Cool Room podcast. Hope you're doing well, David.
Hi, David.
Earlier than he thought. He thought it was quite later, but I've got a few more. Okay.
Go on, hit me with a couple more.
This is to do with the internet again. Robert Tappan Morris is convicted of releasing the Morris worm. It was one of the first computer worms distributed via the internet.
So is it like a virus, a worm?
I think so.
There must be someone in the chat who knows about that.
Ever under the 1986 Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
It must be like quite, when the internet was at its infancy, like setting a virus off, it might have well just been putting an earthworm on a physical computer, like to have a virus. It wouldn't be like such an intricate deal as it is now, surely.
Yeah.
Simple.
I think it would you would just have to, because most computers in this era or whatever didn't even have a hard drive, did they? You would have to put the hard drive in and then put the disk in the top, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. The trial of Joseph Hazelwood, a skipper on the Exxon Valdez. He is accused of negligence that resulted in America's second worst oil spill to date. So second worst oil spill. He's just a skipper. He wasn't. I don't know. In Australia, whenever a skipper runs abroad, they're always drunk.
Yeah, when they run aground, yeah. But also, it's like one of those things, isn't it? It's like, we'll put the skipper up in court, but British Petroleum or Shell, like, leave them alone. Leave them. Like, don't go for the big guys. We'll hang this guy out to dry. Some guy who's been working like 9 months at sea. 9 months on, 2 weeks
He's been
off.
drinking Navy strength gin.
Yeah. albeit 4 pillars.
Yeah.
Go on.
And back then they didn't have like, video porn or anything like that. You'd have to masturbate over a drawing on a wall somewhere or an iceberg that looked like something sexual. Yeah, it would drive anyone crazy.
Just a sketch of a mermaid.
Yeah. Yeah, well, apparently mermaids come from like seals or something. That's how horny the sailors were back then. Let's see a seal and go, wow, that looks sexy. Okay.
All right. I reckon I'm close, Kappa. Close to guesses. Everybody locked in their guesses on the chat.
Okay, everyone lock in their guesses now. I don't know if the skipper, Stuart D's asked, was the skipper was he convicted or accused? I don't know. I think he was just accused, but probably convicted, I'm guessing. Everyone's locking in their guesses. Now, this is something that I didn't know of. United States invasion of Panama.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a bit of a curveball.
Yeah. And they surrendered to American forces, which is, I don't know, Ian. I don't know too much about Panama, but I don't know what kind of army they would have. Like, it's pretty easy to invade Panama. Like, what's going on there?
Well, one of the things I know about Panama and Panamanians is that they made I think they got qualified for the World Cup, I think in 2016. And the team that was going to represent Panama at the World Cup, for a warm-up game, they played the most prominent prison team in Panama and got beaten because Panama is such awash with corruption and crime that the best soccer players in the country had actually all been arrested and were in prison. And when the free team played them in a friendly to help them with, in the World Cup,
yeah,
they got beaten by the prison 11. So that's all I know about Panama. It's like their best soccer players and their best talent is in prison. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's yeah. Craig P says, does their military all wear Panama hats? Oh, that would be cool to see some bulletproof Panama hats, Craig P. Anyway, Ian, what are you locking in? That's what I want.
You've knocked me about a bit with this. I've kind of been in the mid 80s, and then some of the clues have took me to the late 90s. I'm a bit all over the show with this one. I'm going to say it's a weird one because I kind of want to play safe. And I know that playing safe in this game is probably not the place to be. Because there's not been one clue that's really helped me nail down the year, which is fair play to you. Well done. It's no 1906, but you've done well.
I think we get better at doing the clues. And I like doing I like doing the later ones now because I try to make them a lot harder.
Yeah, well, this one is being pretty difficult. I'm gonna I'm really torn. I kind of want to go mid-90s. I kind of want to go something like 1994.
Yeah.
But I also want to go about 1987. And so I'm going to try and play safe and go with 1990. I want to go on the button. 1990.
1990. Well, Ian, I'm afraid you've won because it is 1990. Congratulations, you've done it. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I think the clues that what persuaded me were the ones about McDonald's and KFC, because
You're
I
kidding
thought,
me?
oh, that's probably before the fall of the, probably after the fall of the Berlin Wall, but before the fall of the Soviet Union. So
Oh,
that
mate,
kind of,
there was some. We had 3 winners tonight. We had Craig P, Joel C, and David. So
well
yeah,
played, well
they've
played.
so many close guesses. So everyone was very, very close. Besides Michaela, who said 2001, which is, I think she could have just had a strong beer there. What are you drinking, Michaela? Because we won it. But that's our first winner in a while. That's amazing, Ian.
Come on, Mickey, like the Britney Spears wasn't going to the first KFC. 2001.
Yes, but everyone else very close. Everyone. This is kind of annoying because a lot of people guessed it really, really early. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, I'm going 99s." I'm like, "Shut up, guys!" You know.
Well, I'm just catching up with the chat now. Yeah, and a lot of close guesses.
Yeah, and I was like, "How do they do this shit?" Especially with who was it that got it from the bullet? Yeah, Mike Hunt said 1989, sorry, very early on, which is crazy. I think I'd given 2 guesses then.
Kelvin saying he guessed 95 before the show and 91 after 2 clues. So I guess you say you're the prize in that case.
Yeah. So it was absolutely a real loose one tonight. So thank you guys for joining in. What's everyone's plans? Let us know. Tell us your plans tonight or on the weekend. What are you doing? What beers can you recommend? Has anyone had? And we're not talking beers that have just been like great. We're talking beers that have blown your mind. Okay. So we're after something like, a double butcher or a Burnley or a bloody whatever or a dollar bill. Something that's really
Mr. Banks. We've arranged. We've got Mickey did say Britney's first song was in the 90s, which is fair play. Apologies,
fair play.
Mickey. I meant more Franz Ferdinand. I think they were probably still in the late 90s, but we'll see. But, great clues, Kappa. Played a blinder tonight. We'll jump offline, but thanks everybody for joining us again. What a treat it was. Have a beer guest of the year. Hopefully we will not be back next week. We'll be living life under vaccinated freedom. Chances are we'll see each other next week.
We'll be back next week. We will be back. Everybody, make sure you have fun and get the back, get tested, and let us know what beers you love in the chat.
Keep talking in chat, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Have a Beer, Guest of the Year, Kappa, Play the Blinder. Take it easy.